Let's talk about Tokyo Vice, the show thus far, 4 episodes in, and how it utilizes noir, specifically detective noir. And I love detective noir. It's one of the genres that I read pretty frequently. And one of the things I think that embodies detective noir, which is present in Tokyo Vice as well, is that it's all about everyone having secrets and having issues in their life, and that everybody essentially has a vice, and those vices get manipulated, right? That's sort of what detective noir is all about. It's people who have something that they desire that they shouldn't desire. They act on that desire. It gets them in trouble, and then they're manipulated, or a situation is manipulated, and it's really, really fascinating. So if you think about people not being perfect, detective noir showcases what happens when that imperfection gets manipulated. The head boss of Tozawa has a medical condition which seems to be driving him to be more reckless. He wants to leave a legacy, and he knows he's going to die anyway, so he might as well go to war with the rival Chihara gang, right? So that's an issue in his life. It's a vice that he's keeping it a secret. He's hiding it from people. He's putting on makeup. And that secret is causing him to act in a way that causes problems to happen in his community. We know that Detective Kirigara is using violence to get info from the Tozawa gang member. We know that he probably should not be doing that. He's going a little bit off book there to do some of those things. And we also know that he's already disagreed with his supervisors about how they should go about solving cases. So he's keeping some secrets or ways of behaving that society might not agree with. He's keeping those to himself as well. Ishida might be losing the respect of his gang. He's the head of the Chihara gang, the Chihara family, the Yakuza. And he might be losing the respect of his gang because they think, there's a rumor going around that they think he is a police informant. So now he's carrying a secret that he has to deal with, right? And he's pushed to behave differently because of that. Jake is desperate to make a name for himself. He's driven by that desire. It's a vice for him. It can get him in trouble. Sato used to be a fishmonger and wanted a better life, so he joined the Yakuza. And now the Yakuza kind of demands him to do things that he would not otherwise want to do. And of course, in this episode, we get the big reveal that Samantha has committed a crime. So now Samantha is somebody who can be manipulated as well. So this gives all of this cast of characters a very compelling reasons for pushing the conflict. And I didn't even mention Aimee. We know that she's actually a Gaijin. She's not from Japan. She's Korean. We learned that a little bit more in this episode where she talks to the Korean immigrant. And so this gives a lot of people compelling reasons to get involved in conflicts and to push that conflict forward. And we all know that conflict is one of the bedrocks for storytelling and what makes people interested in storytelling. And that's why this is such a huge strength of detective noir. This idea that we would all be associated and embroiled in conflict, and that we would keep secrets, and that those secrets would create more conflict that would double down. All of those things are really, really fascinating, and I think really well done here. And how do then storytellers, specifically writers, but also directors or anybody else involved in the storytelling process, how do they exploit that? Well, they give characters weaknesses that those characters are trying to keep a secret. The same thing is true if you look at more of like U.S. detective noir. U.S. detective noir is almost always focused in Los Angeles, San Francisco, or New York. Those are some of the more common areas where it's showcased. And one of the shows about the Los Angeles area, one of the movies I should say, is Chinatown. Really classic detective noir. And that's, the system is corrupt. The government system and how they go about doling out water resources. That's kind of what that's about. But as the detective in that movie, played by Jack Nicholson, I can't remember the character's name, but he's played by Jack Nicholson. As he investigates these crimes, what he realizes is that all the people involved also have additional secrets. In fact, the big secret at the end of the movie, which I won't spoil, is all about a family secret that people have been keeping under wraps. You know, they don't want to get out, and that secret is almost worse than what's happening systemically in that city in LA. So it's a neat. So this is a technique that works in all kinds of stories, but it really shines in detective noir, and detective noir really manipulates that really, really well. And a lot of times too, the detective involved in is usually a private eye, but the detective or the private eye involved in unraveling all these secrets usually has some weaknesses or secrets of his own or her own that are also manipulated, right? Maybe they fall in love with the person that they, or maybe fall in lust would be a better word for it, with the person that they're helping, and then that causes problems. I mean, this is the kind of thing that Detective Noir does really, really, really well, and Tokyo Vice is certainly a part of that legacy of great Detective Noir, and I am really enjoying this show.